Star Wars fans, I'm Droid Protocol, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cool Rebel Commando helmet from Return of the Jedi. Right, so we're going to start off with the green part that goes around the top of the head, which I like to call the toilet seat. So first I'm just going to cut some cardboard and kind of shape it to create a template to fit around my head so it looks like I'm wearing a cardboard crown from Hungry Jack's. So the flat cardboard wasn't really working, so I had to cut it in a bit of a curved shape to create the angled pieces on the sides. So you can see here I've done that and I've just sticky taped it all together. Now I'm just test fitting it to make sure it fits around my fat head, and it looks to be that it's okay. So now I've just shaped it a little bit better to create the templates and getting it ready for foam. All right, let's work on the hood part now. Now here's a picture of what it looks like down to the left. This fabric I just had lying around the house, and it's kind of just some sort of heavy cotton, a bit like denim, but not quite. And this is basically how I figured out what I was going to do to create those pleats on the top. So I'm just basically doing a small box pleat and just pressing it out with the iron and just getting it ready for sewing. So after pressing the pleats, I just kept it together on a board just so it wouldn't fall apart, and then I got it ready for stitching. So the old Janome, here she is. She's probably about 40 years old, this thing, but she's still going strong. Love this machine. So all I'm doing here is I'm just tracing out a basic template. I actually didn't use this piece. Well, I did, but it was incorrect, so I had to remake it. But I just was showing you how I did that. And then these ear sections, I actually stitched them back to back. And then I'm just demonstrating how I flipped the top layer in through to get a really nice seam in the middle of the circle, which turned out really beautiful and I was really happy with. And then it was incorrect anyway, so I had to chop it all out. But for the time being, these two pieces look really nice and neat, so I just used them in the video. Right, fast montage sewing time. Throw some pins in, make it look pretty, whack it on the Janome, and you're done. Just like that. Actually, it took me a lot longer, to be honest, but here it is, all complete, stitched together. Looks really nice. Adding the bias binding, and now here's me modeling my work. Okay, so the hood is basically done now. The only part that I haven't demonstrated how to build or make was the visor part, but that's fairly straightforward. It's just a piece of plastic with some layers of fabric over the top. So now that that's all done, we can get this colored. Now, because this project was just a quick, cheap project and just using materials that I already had, I wasn't able to get a fabric that was the right color. So I did experiment using coffee to stain the fabric, but the coffee didn't really hold as well as I'd hoped. So I ended up washing it out, and then I went back and I used acrylic paints to really weather the colors that I wanted. Now here's where I had to get creative. I didn't have any leather parts to make these bits, so I basically just took an old calico shopping bag and just got some acrylic paint out, just painted it the colors that I needed, and then chopped up the pieces and stuck them on. So here you can see the hood completed, plus you can see the parts that I changed around the ears. I had to make the ear holes bigger to fit the earmuff sections in. And those earmuff sections are basically just cut out of foam and then just painted with some rubber paint. All right, what we've got to do next is we've got to transfer our templates that we made earlier onto the foam and cut those out. Glue the foam together, and then we have to make a template to trim the bottom edge of the helmet. After this, we can make the ring to go around the top of the helmet, and then we can take it outside and get it coated in resin. Okay, so this is where the fun begins. Now, unfortunately, again, because I was using stuff around the house, I only had a 2-part polyurethane resin, which is actually made for casting. So I thought I could use it for resin coating foam parts, which yes, you can, but it's very, very hard to work with. Once it is applied, I found it was easier to use a silicone spatula to smooth it out because it sets so quickly, a paintbrush is just useless. But you can see here it's changed its color, it's set. One of the best things about this kind of resin is it's really easy to sand. So this is what made my job a lot easier. Next up, it's time to just do a bit of filling. So I just used this scratch stone chip filler. It's just really cheap, easy. It's just straight out of the tube. It dries over a few hours, and once it's dry, you can just sand it down. It's kind of similar to two-part bog filler, but it's just a single stage, which I find really handy. So after the filler stage, I've just gone over with a high build plastic primer. Then I can just sand it down. I can see if there's areas that need more putty or more filling or more sanding, which is quite good. And then from there, I've just used some knives and like some sandpaper and my Dremel just to really scratch out some proper damage in the design that I wanted. Now, unfortunately, during painting of the helmet, I didn't get any footage. I don't know if I've deleted the footage or if I just didn't press record, but there is no footage, I'm afraid. So all I can do is just tell you what I did. I basically just undercoated it with silver and then masked off areas that had to be damaged with toothpaste, which you can see here. And then I just went over with the green acrylic paint. Now, once your top coat is dry, it's really easy to get rid of the toothpaste. You can just scrub it off with a paper towel or a tea towel or something and just wash it under some water. I use a bit of warm water and it just helps to soften the toothpaste, and you can just rub it off eventually, and it just leaves you with these really nice paint chips and scratches, and it looks really awesome and it works every time, I swear by it. So here's a quick video of my helmet rotating like a rotisserie chicken. And then I decided that I'm going to put some logos on to make this helmet look more like the references. So I added some acrylic paint logos here, and yeah, just scratched it up and weathered it up to match the rest of the helmet. Well, we are done. This helmet is complete. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this. It was such a fun project. I just love making things like this. I can't wait to share my next project with you all. Stay tuned. I'm just going to make you a really crappy little green screen video of me in the final sequence of Return of the Jedi. See you guys in the next video. Bye for now.